This will be a very timely topic. Ransomware is, we were originally thinking, there's a timely attack with Baltimore County Public Schools, about 2 weeks ago. And the region just keeps being relevant with yesterday having seen the Greater Baltimore Medical Center getting hit with a ransomware attack. And so I'm really excited that you all joined us today because you have a really impressive background when it comes to incident response and ransomware, and cover kind of all sides of how an organization would respond. For those that are on the call, I'm Nick Zajciw, the Senior Manager of Cyber Initiatives at bwtech, joined by Dennis Underwood, who's the CEO of Cyber Crucible, a former company that used to be in bwtech, Keith Moulsdale, partner at Whiteford Taylor Preston, and then Brian Dykstra from Atlanta Data Forensics, the CEO and founder there as well. So really excited for this next half hour of discussion on this growing attack. And then, the best way to start out is, defining what is ransomware. A CISA definition of, it being malicious software or malware designed to deny access to a computer system or data until ransom is paid. And maybe if we can go down the panel and have you all, give a little deeper background on your cyber resume and how you are working with companies affected by ransomware.
At Whiteford, we're a full practice law firm, and I'm in the data security group, which we formed about 10 years ago. So we've been doing incident response for a long time now. And I would say over the past 5 years, ransomware has really grown and grown. And this year, of course, it's exploded. So where we get involved in is helping to manage the incident response on behalf of the victim.
We started pivoting a whole bunch of R&D into ransomware around first quarter of 2019. After we saw 3 or 4 folks get hit in a row, even though they had all the protections in place. And then we looked on the, quote unquote, dark webs, to sound scary, and realized that this is going to be a trend that is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And it's going to be multi-year. And so what we've done, we've been involved in a lot of ransomware engagements. We've gone from a response-focused company with some fancy decryptors to one that has products that do behavioral analysis and actually prevent the ransomware from executing.
So we're what they call a DFIR company, Digital Forensics Incident Response. That's all we do all day, every day. We'll do a little over 200 incidents this year. We've been doing that for the last 15 years now. Prior to that, I was a co-founder at Mandiant, so I've been doing that for 20-some plus years now. Just showing up on people's worst days, which makes me popular at parties.
Yeah, I think the best lessons come from the clients who have survived, been attacked with ransomware and made it through. One of my clients, a credit union, about, 3 or 4 years ago, they were affected by ransomware. And it hit one of their computers, and within about 30 minutes, it had spread to about 30 of their computers. And what saved them in that case was basically pre-planning. It really goes to what Brian said about being prepared, having a data security program where you do a risk analysis and implement technical, physical, administrative safeguards. And in that case, the credit union had in place an MSSP, a managed service security provider, who was actually monitoring the networks and doing some of the stuff that Dennis does, basically, right? Has software on the networks that was looking at behaviors and looking at the communications and seeing what changes, what were the anomalies. And they reached out to the credit union and said, hey, this is going on. That enabled them to, to isolate those computers and then go to a backup. And the second thing that saved that organization was that they had backups, which were separate physically. They weren't connected in real time to the primary system. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see in ransomware cases, that people's backups are connected in real time.
Whenever work from home really hit, it was interesting because what we saw was our best way of describing it to clients is that our decryptors can have kind of like the Queen's English, and they'll have proper, just like Ryuk, right? Proper encryption that's like FIPS compliant, that makes everyone happy. They'd pass an audit, even though they're bad guys, And then we started seeing these just crazy homegrown moonshine encryption solutions. And so it was almost like people got laid off from work and then decided, hey, I'm going to start being a mastermind cyber criminal. And it was a bit of a mess for us.
Patch your systems. Patch all your systems. Your desktop systems, your server systems, all that infrastructure gear, firewalls. All these vendors put out these patches for free. You don't have to pay them for them. They're free. You Mac people out there that are running around thinking Macs don't give viruses. That was 10 years ago. you totally get viruses. What you get is credential stealing viruses, kind of the worst kind. They steal all your logins and logoffs to all your accounts and things like that. And there's a ton of that stuff out there. And then lastly, antivirus, anti-malware. If you're out there thinking you don't need that, or you can get by with the built-in Windows Defender or something like that, and that's going to protect you, you are going to get to see me in person. You got to get something on there. I don't really care what it is, just something. Ideally, I'd like to see you run something on your desktop, something on your server that's completely different, and something else in your email. So you got 3 different chances of catching all this bad stuff that's coming at you.
Want to thank you all for joining us, and hopefully no more attacks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, thanks a lot.